More than 10 years ago, portals that could connect to different dimensions suddenly appeared in the world, and various monsters and beasts reside within them. Conventional weapons can't fight them. Only those with awakened special abilities can. They are called hunters. Based on their magical powers, hunters are classified as ones of S, A, B, C, D, E rank. However, when awakened, no matter how hard they try, their abilities will no longer be developed. 3 years later, present day. As everyone goes about their day, being a hunter at this point is considered a normal job in society. Everyone is readying up to go for another hunt. One of the few is Kim and Park, who recently just returned back to being a hunter after a hiatus. They discuss making a lot of money if the next raid will be successful. That's when Jin-Woo arrives. He is somewhat famous among the hunters, but not for the reasons you think. He is a lowly hunter with the nickname, the weakest hunter of all mankind. He is so weak that he was injured in an E-rank dungeon and hospitalized, so Kim assumes that calling the kid here means the mission will be a breeze. Jin-Woo heard all of that, but agrees that he's the lowest of them all. Joo-hee, his charming partner in raids, scolds him for being injured again. She wants to know what happened, and he shamefully admits that he was the only one injured in the E-rank dungeon. He is just too weak, and she already knows it. The mission is about to start, and their leader will be Song, the highest-ranked hunter from the party. The gates open, and they start to walk in. Kim tells the weakling to stay close so he doesn't get hurt. The only weapon Jin-Woo has is a small knife with little magic power. It's all his insignificant income can allow. He must perform today to get even a little of the spoils. Jin-Woo is ecstatic, finally obtaining his first crystal, but is suddenly attacked, with his knife cracking when he deflects. When he sees an opportunity to attack, the knife shatters, and the goblin gravely injures him. Luckily, Park was nearby and deals with the goblin. As Jin-Woo is laying on the ground, Joo-hee rushes to heal him. The loser can only watch as the rest of the party breezes through the low-tier monsters with ease, before losing consciousness. The magic crystals hunters obtain from the monsters are sold to the Hunters Association, acting as the guild. The crystals can be made into more powerful weapons to defeat stronger magic beasts. The mana crystals harvested from the dungeon can also be weapons, but their effects are not as good as those of magic gems. But the government wants to use them as a new source of energy, safer than nuclear, and more efficient than any hydro, wind, or geothermal power with no pollution. It's the ideal green energy. That's why the hunters are important in obtaining this energy. Back at the dungeon, the party successfully defeated the dungeon boss, while Jin-Woo is just sitting on the floor, still being healed. Joo-hee wants to know why a loser like him became a hunter. He is good for nothing. While everyone has their hands full of high-rank spoils, Jin-Woo is disappointed that he only got a E-rank magic gem, something not worth risking his life for. Suddenly someone calls everyone over. He found an additional cave to explore, something called a double dungeon. Usually when hunters defeat the final boss, the dungeon closes, but this one isn't, so it's worth exploring. Everyone is giddy for more loot. Song notes that usually in these kinds of situations they should report to the guild, meaning giving up the dungeon to someone else. Everyone is eager to keep exploring. It's just a D-rank dungeon anyway. Hearing the complaints, Song decides to give it a vote. There are 6 people who support it and 6 against it. Jin-Woo is the deciding vote. He understands how dangerous the D-rank dungeon is for him, but with his father missing, he is the only one in the family who can earn money. His mother has medical bills, and sister has to go to college. He needs money. Jin-Woo wants to continue. Did he forget he doesn't have a weapon? Meanwhile, at the guild, they have technology that assesses people's talent and rank, with a dozen agents hiring for their own association. Everyone is trying to get the highest rank hunters that would net them better profits in the future. S-rank hunters are not only strong, but if someone recognizes them in public, they are like idols. Back at the cave, the hunters have been walking the cave for about 40 minutes now. Jin-Woo apologizes to Joo-hee. Despite her not wanting to go into the cave, he basically forced her to. She doesn't care for his apology, angry that he is such a loser that doesn't value his life. He is alive right now only thanks to her, B-rank healer. He can apologize to her over dinner, catching him off guard. They finally arrived. It's the boss's room. It's rare to see rooms with doors like this. They will advance for now and retreat together if something doesn't seem right. Meanwhile at the guild, a pre-recorded message of Go Gun-hee, the president, explains that being a hunter is a life-threatening profession with many things still unknown about the dungeons. You can never let your guard down. If they want to survive, they have to be cautious. Song's party opens the gate and the room lights up. This is a kind of room that no one has ever seen before, filled with statues and an eerie atmosphere, with one particularly large statue sitting on a throne. The odd thing is that there are no monsters around, not a single one. Song notices a magic circle on the ground, and they find a tablet with the ancient language. Song starts to read it, while with a terrified look, Joo-hee grabs Jin-Woo, saying that the large statue's eyes moved. It was looking at them just a moment ago. Suddenly, the huge doors close. Everyone is terrified of not knowing what is going on. Desperate to get out, one of the party members walks to the door, only to get slashed in half by the statue. Their worst nightmare has come to life. All of the statues are monsters. The situation slowly sinks as Jin-Woo understands that he is about to die, when an adventurer much stronger than him gets killed in an instant. He doesn't understand why such terrifying creatures would be in a D-rank dungeon. Remembering Joo-hee's words from before, Jin-Woo slowly turns around. With a terror-struck look in his eyes, he glances at the statue, and it glances back. This is the end. Jin-Woo has been in many life-and-death situations. Separated from the team, he got injured by an E-rank monster and hospitalized. Almost starved when he was trapped in a maze. To get a better weapon, he has to collect loot, but he can't do that if he doesn't kill monsters. He endures the ridicule of others, and does this dangerous job that doesn't earn much. In order to survive, he has to constantly look for loopholes and observe. Maybe that's why he knows. Suddenly yelling for everyone to get down as the large statue fires a fire beam, decimating everything in its path. No one knows what to do. They are trapped with no way out. All of them will be killed. The whole room is in panic, until Song commands everyone to stay still. The statue reacts to movement. The situation is intense, but manageable. Song tells Jin-Woo that he saved them, in the moment somehow sensing the immediate threat. Jin-Woo bandages Song's missing arm, since Joo-hee is too weak-minded to treat him right now. That's why she can't attend higher tier raids, despite being a B-rank healer. But this one, it might be an S-rank one. Earlier Song read out loud the commandments on the stone. Worship the god, praise the god, believe the god. Those who don't obey these commandments won't leave alive. Believing that the god mentioned on the stone is the statue. As Song wants to prepare an escape plan, one of the hunters goes into a frenzy, confident in his speed. He believes he can rush out before the statue gets him, but he is pulverized within a second, with nothing but his feet remaining. The statue can finish them off at any time, as easy as crushing an ant. It gets Jin-Woo thinking, if the statue can kill them at any moment, why doesn't it do so? It's different from those magic beasts that attack blindly. Remembering the 3 commandments, Jin-Woo says that this dungeon has its own rules. To test out his theory, he gets up on his feet, and the statue's eyes light up, immediately ducking, which stops the statue from attacking. The first commandment is to worship the god, meaning their head has to be below a certain height, then the statue won't attack. Following Jin-Woo's example, the whole party bow their heads to the statue. That moment, the statue's expression changes, but it's not attacking them. Park slowly gets on his feet and the statue doesn't budge. They think they are saved, but Jin-Woo knows better. It's not over. The statue gets up on his feet, and Song turns to Jin-Woo for more directions. He explains that the second commandment is to praise the Lord. Praise is their clue. One of the hunters steps forward and starts chanting a prayer, but the statue's grin intensifies. But Jin-Woo knows this is not right. Those are not the words to praise this god, and the statue squishes the hunter and despair once again steps in, with some just giving up on the spot. They scatter around, and just as Park thinks he's safe, the statue behind him slashes him in two. Jin-Woo keeps repeating the words in his head, praise the god, but he can't think of what to praise about it. It's essentially a demon. He can't abandon Joo-hee and tries to find any clues about the second commandment. Looking at the other statues, gun, axe, hammer, sword, musical instrument. Statues on the side activate when someone is near them. That's it. Jin-Woo yells for everyone to get under the statue with the musical instrument. Kim breaks down in the sight of despair. Jin-Woo and Joo-hee run under the drums, but it quickly becomes apparent that the statues won't activate unless it's only one person. Jin-Woo runs across to the other statue, and the god's gaze is set on him. As he's about to be crushed, he barely evades, but he's at the wrong statue. Crawling his way to the musical one, he refuses to give up and makes it to the statue by the sliver of a hair. Joo-hee runs up to him. He didn't make it unscratched. His leg was severed by the shield statue. Joo-hee tries to heal Jin-Woo, but overexerts herself. She can't do any more. The whole situation is a terrible sight. Kim blames Song for making a decision to explore the cave, but it's not the time to argue. There is one more commandment. Suddenly the statue raises its hand, and the room begins to shake. An altar rises from the center floor. Jin-Woo explains that just like in mythology, it's for offering tributes or living sacrifices to God. The third commandment is, believe the god. Kim swiftly points his weapon at Song, saying it's his time to take responsibility for his decision. Song accepts this as his duty, and goes to the altar alone. As he steps in the ring, a fire lights up. Something doesn't seem right. Jin-Woo asks for others to help him to the altar to investigate further. As the three of them step in, 3 more fires light up. Jin-Woo starts to realize what's going on, but doesn't disclose it to Song. Jin-Woo asks if someone will rescue them if they wait here, and Song says it's the 7th day after the dungeon was created, thinking that the guild will take action before they are rescued. The gate will be fully open after 7 days. That is called dungeon break. Then the magic beasts will pass to the human world. That's why they have to defeat the boss and close the gate before the time limit. If they fail here, this god will run out into their world. Jin-Woo calls Joo-hee and Kim to come into the circle to light up the rest of the flames. Only then they will know what will happen. The circle lights up, and lightning lights up the outer ring. The doors finally open, and they might finally be free. But a fire goes out, and the outer statues awaken, slowly walking towards them. Jin-Woo notices that the statues don't move as long as they look at them. They must keep their eyes on the statues. One of the adventurers can't stop panicking, and in the eyes of the terror she closes hers and runs away. Red flame goes out and door slightly shifts, but she gets away. Jin-Woo can't figure it out. The blue flames go out over time, and once someone leaves the altar, the orange flames will also go out. Jin-Woo recalls the commandments, worship, praise, and the third is believe. The door must be a trap, offering false hope to those who are in terror. He believes it tests their faith in God this way. Another hunter breaks. Just as they are about to break, Jin-Woo tells them not to move. If they leave, it will create a blind spot. They have to keep their gaze on the statues. The blue flames are a timer, and once it goes out completely, they should be able to escape. There is also the possibility that the doors will be locked up forever. Kim thanks Jin-Woo, saying that despite he's the weakest, they were able to survive thanks to him. But Kim doesn't want to die. He has a family to return to. Without averting the gaze, Jin-Woo hears Kim running away. Song tells the two left to run away as well. The door won't close as long as one remains in the circle. But Joo-hee falls to her knees. She doesn't have any strength left. Seeing no way out, Jin-Woo decides to be the sacrifice, telling Song to take her and run. Jin-Woo swears he will get out. He promised her a date after all. Song knocks her out and carries her out with him. If Jin-Woo knew this is how things would end, he would have bought more life insurance. The weakling grabs the sword, adamant on taking one of them with him. The statues start attacking him, as he barely evades their attacks, but barely is not enough. Clinging by the last thread, he still wants to live. His mind starts racing, hating on people who justify their actions. They are all the same. All the gratitude is just lip service. It's always the selfish ones who get all the benefits. He has a family too. He wants to return home alive too. Jin-Woo is smashed on the altar, losing a lot of blood. As he's about to die, he wishes for another chance. The last blue flame goes off and a notification pops up. The secret quest. Courage of the weak. He has acquired the qualification to be a player. If he doesn't accept, his heart will stop. Jin-Woo accepts. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more episodes.